I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 65 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 2, Episode 14 of City Hunter, titled, Love Can Be Superior to Money, Mokkori versus a Saving Girl.
This is a nice, safe episode.
It actually is.
Yeah, just kind of cute and kind of nice, and there's a couple of fun things to point out, so we should do that.
Yes, we're lucky that as compared to so many other episodes like last week, we were just going on and on and on because there was so much to cover. This one is very bare bones. It sucks to be broke.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we can all sort of relate to that.
See, like, for us in particular, like me, just to give a picture into our lives, I had to go buy a new computer chair today, and that mess had to be put on a payment plan.
All right, payment plans, woo!
Sometimes you just can't afford everything in one go. That's just not how it is right now.
We're gonna be paying for a silly office chair for a good while.
I mean, yeah, money has never not been important, but for our particular client this week, she has an obsession with money, and for seemingly no reason, and then a kind of typical reason.
Kind of like, oh, is that all? But I guess we'll get to that. But we start inside this girl's room.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and introduce her right off the bat. So our client for the week is named Shoko Takarada. She's 19 years old, attending Kanto Central University, and she is obsessed with money.
Or with making money, that's for sure. And I guess saving it, I guess holding on to it. She doesn't seem to spend a lot of it.
No, and that's something I wish they'd kind of expanded upon here in the episode, is even if she's trying to get as much money, amass as much money as possible, is she also doing things to make sure she's not losing money? Does she like thrift for clothing? Does she do other things that are cost saving? Does she clip coupons? Like, is there something more to the character?
Well, we did kind of see one act of her saving money or helping someone else save money a little bit later. So, I mean, there's some of that. I bet you she cuts corners in every way possible. Right now, we just see her in her room with multiple piggy banks. Like 4. There's at least 4 piggy banks.
And see, that's the thing I don't get. Like, why do you need multiples? Don't you just need the one?
Well, maybe she's filled up 3 of them, and she's on the 4th one right now.
Well, then she needs to get her ass to a Coinstar.
1987 Japan Coinstar? Is that a thing? When did we start seeing Coinstars, Josh? I didn't see a
Actually,
Coinstar
probably not until 20 years ago, something like that at least.
At least. Maybe before then, but not 1987.
Well, it's just easier to say because most Japanese currency
is coin
form. And we see her drop a nice shiny 500 yen coin into her piggy bank. Her mobile piggy bank, I should say. There's one piggy bank that's specifically a pig that she takes around with her everywhere.
Yes, that's true. But we're looking at the back wall of her room, and on the back wall, we just thought it was clever that there's a poster on the back wall that just says money. And that makes sense for the character. Like, she cares a whole heck of a lot about money.
But it actually makes a lot more sense when you bother to look at, oh, there's a name on this poster. So some of you guys might remember a couple of episodes back, we saw that Kaori was throwing everything in the room at Reika, Sayako's little sister, and one of the things she was throwing were 2 albums by the artist Shogo Hamada.
And this guy's name is back again, and it's on this poster. And I was like, is it the same guy? Tell me it's the same guy. And I googled it. Shogo Hamada, Money. Yeah, he has a song called Money. I don't know that this poster, like, I was trying to see if they copied a real poster, and I didn't find it. I thought maybe, like, it was a tour poster or something. But the art doesn't look the same, but maybe that doesn't really matter. But it's on that same album as one of the ones that we were looking at that particular episode that she was just throwing around.
Yeah, Down by the Main Street, which was one of those albums that Kaori was chucking across the room. So it's a song off that album. And so we decided, oh, okay, we gotta listen to it again. Let's check out this album. We're listening to a lot of Shogo Hamada now because these people working on City Hunter really like this guy.
I guess so.
So yet again, this song sounds very 80s.
80s rock.
And the chorus is in English. The lyrics go, money makes you crazy, money changes everything.
Yeah, it's true. It's accurate.
Not only is it accurate, it 100% fits the character.
So, that's a double win. It's not just a cute, oh, we can throw this this out there just because we're the animators, but also, hey, no, this actually tells more of a story about this character, like just how into pursuing money she is. Like, she really latched onto this song by this artist.
So now I have to put it to you, which is it? Is it that they wrote the episode and they were like, hey man, you know the Shogo Hamada song Money? We gotta reference that, because that's totally what the character's into.
Yes.
Or was it, hey man, I love Shogo Hamada so much, can we write an episode around his song Money?
Well, okay, I would need to double check whether or not this episode came from a manga chapter.
That's true, because if I remember correctly, those albums came out before the show started.
Right, so obviously the song had already happened.
So we would have to look into that, but that will take longer, and we're not going to do that right this second. So we see Shoko out at school, I guess she just got out of class, and mind you, she keeps very busy at school, which we'll go into in a second. And there's this dude waiting out front with this real Dean Stockwell-looking haircut.
He's a really slimy-looking dude. I'm not saying Dean Stockwell was slimy-looking. It's mostly in, like, his hair and his sunglasses.
Yeah, he's got the same profile.
And also kind of his stature, the way he's standing. He's got his hands in his pockets. He's got his knees all bowed out and his toes sticking out wide. Like, he's standing like kind of a creeper.
And so dude tries stepping to Shoko and throwing some game at her, trying to hit on her. He has no game. But it turns out that Shoko actually has tons of game when it comes to finding ways to charge somebody for something.
Sure.
So looking at this guy, she notices, oh, he's got a button loose on his button-up shirt. Here, let me get that for you. I have a sewing kit right here. I'll just get that right quick.
Which,
you don't even have to move.
She's very good at it, so she's actually learned a lot of skills.
Yeah, if there's one thing we can say about Shoko, she's incredibly skilled.
Right.
She's like, all right, all done. Buttons ready to go. That'll be 200 yen, please.
And the guy's more than happy to pay it because she's just real nice. She's real cute, and she actually did him a service. So she helped him out, but then he realized, no, wait a minute, there's a reason why I'm here. No, I'm hitting on you. Hold on.
But see, he can do nothing in the presence of a master.
Yeah, because for some reason, Rio also likes to hang outside of young girls' college centers and then pick them up when they walk out the gate.
Yeah, so
they're both kind of creepy people.
Yeah, so let's put that in context here. Rio was also at the school.
Thank God it's college, okay? Still weird.
Yeah, like, Shoko's legal here. We always have to make sure to cover that as soon as we get confirmation of an age. Shoko is 19, so it's okay for the most part.
Except for the whole waiting outside for chicks. It's still really weird.
And also trying to determine how old Rio actually is, because then that's getting into Leonardo DiCaprio conversation territory.
He might be like 30. We don't know, but it's possible.
So not
he's
as bad as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, it's not as bad, but still like, come on, buddy. Don't be hanging outside of colleges. But I bet you the other dude is older than Rio is.
Oh, he looks way older than Rio.
He's gotta be like 45.
I was about to say he's in his mid-40s somewhere. He's recently divorced and he's just on the ends. He needs a win real bad. So yeah, Rio starts running the same game. Hey baby, you want to go out on a date? And dude's getting all pissed here. He tries to throw a punch at Rio. Rio catches, oh, he's about to try and punch me. I don't need to do very much, and just diverts it.
Just does the Heisman. No.
And redirects this dude's punch straight into a brick wall.
And that disables him very easily.
Yeah, it looks like one of those Mortal Kombat X-ray shots. You can see the bone cracking.
It's a little gnarly, but that guy brought it onto himself. Really, honestly. Rio didn't have to do anything.
And so seemingly the winner in this moment, Rio decides to go ahead and put his arm around Shoko and take her on, well, not really a date. He just kind of leads her around to go get a drink.
Which I guess she goes along with. And so you're thinking, oh, did Rio like really score this one? But I mean, you come to find out pretty quickly, no, she's the one that's actually winning in this scenario. Because after a few minutes, after he's touching her hand, putting his arm around her shoulder and stuff, she's got this calculator out on the table and just beep beep boop. Hey, what's that for? Hey, don't worry about it. Hey, why don't we keep drinking these drinks?
You want to go see a movie? We can do that. Okay, sure, we can do that. We just need you to settle up your tab.
Because we've sort of ventured into the territory of paid dating. She just didn't tell him that's what was happening.
Yeah, she did not tell him there were surcharges involved. So for every little touch, handhold, gold and physical contact of any sort of nature, she has been charging him, and now he owes
like $25.
Specifically, it's 2,650 yen, which, yeah, is about $25 American. And it's like, oh, I didn't know it was like that.
But okay. Because he doesn't leave her. He doesn't leave her after that, so he must have paid up.
So this isn't a bad time for City Hunter, the business, because he could at least pay for this.
Sure. I mean, this chick is a hustler.
No, that she has absolutely got her hustle on. Every day I'm hustling. That's her. Mm-hmm. And so to further define that this is the kind of person she is, we move over to a yakuza family who has done an extensive amount of research and filming of Shoko specifically.
It's how we knew everything about her name and how old she is, thanks to the yakuza.
Specifically the Saotome family.
Saotome Gumi.
Nothing to do with Ranma Saotome. That's a completely different series. The Saotome family has been spying on Shoko and just seeing just how much of a hustler she is. She does multiple jobs. She holds down clubs, but is paid to take part in club activities. I don't know how she managed to do that.
School clubs, mind you.
School clubs. She sells ramen noodles after work. She's also a model for the school, like for people in art class. She picks things up off the ground and then sells them to make money. Like every kind of hustle that you could possibly think of, she's doing it.
She's monetized her entire life. Just her whole life revolves around, hey, could I make a yen off of this?
And I think, what were they saying? She wakes up at like 4 a.m.?
Oh, I don't remember when they say she wakes up. I do remember that they said, at 9 a.m. she's at school.
Yeah, so she's like maybe getting a couple of hours of sleep at night. And
right.
The rest of the time it's just money, 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 money. And my question at this point is, they say that these are the things she is doing. They don't tell us how long she's been doing them.
Well, I think you can maybe estimate at least a year.
Okay, after a year, how much money has a college student saved up in the 80s when things are not as expensive,
right,
and you're working nonstop from dawn to dusk, and then some?
I'd say that's pretty good for a late teenager.
You would figure, like, she should be saving up for a car or something nice for herself. Like, you're starting to wonder now at this point watching the episode, what is she gonna do with all that money?
Ryo's certainly asking that question here in a little bit. But, I mean, before we get that far in, we're still messing around with the Saotome family. And we're looking at these slides of this girl earning all this money. And there's like 3-4 other dudes in the room. One of them is also the injured guy who punched that wall. And
you're right.
He screwed up at trying to pick this chick up, which it turns out was a job and not actually him being super interested in her, although, she did kind of win him over with that button sewing thing.
I mean, that's minor, but the boss here of the Saotome family, who we find out at the end of the episode, is named Ikkan.
Yeah, we name him a whole one time about 30 seconds before the end of the episode, so it really doesn't matter all that much. He's the Saotome family guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, one of you other 3 dudes needs to pick her up, and whoever can actually pick her up, like, Sly Dude, he's got game style, pick this lady up, you are going to be the heir to the Saotome family. So I guess he doesn't have an heir to the Saotome family, and he needs somebody. I don't know why he decided this was the qualification that was necessary to be the heir of a Yakuza family. This is why I was really confused about it, because I was like, wait, what does he want them to do and why? It didn't make sense to me. I think it's just stupid.
Well, because the thing about it is, he says up front that the Saotome family is known for their ability to pick up chicks. Rather, he says
this is really important to him?
This is really important to the family, to this Yakuza family, that they get women. But apparently, he also says in the same breath, they have no game. So how are you known for this, but you have no game? Are you known for failing? Is that what you're saying you're famous for? Also, what about Yakuza-related activities? What about extortion? What about protection rackets? What about throwing bicycles at dudes that could easily beat you up?
I don't think any of these 3 guys are capable of any of that. In fact, one of them straight up says, well, I'm not really interested in running the family, but I'll pick up chicks.
Yeah, so we are introduced to 3 dudes, like you said, who could potentially do this. The Saotome family has hired, or contacted, I should say, the worst of the best.
They're just gross dudes.
Yeah, they're all womanizers, self-admitted womanizers, so we got 3 dudes to pick from here. We got the dude you just mentioned who said, I don't really want to, but I'll do it because I love picking up women, who is never named, but he kind of looks like Rick Moranis, so I'm just gonna call him Rick Moranis.
Okay, fine.
Then there's our main dude, who I'll go ahead and bring up because we will see this guy later.
I wouldn't even call him a main dude for this episode, but it is funny that he, like, pops up once or twice later.
Yeah, like, the writers remembered this guy. Is a guy who calls himself Sabu the Womanizer.
He's just kind of smarmy looking. He looks like he wines and dines ladies a lot.
He looks like he hangs around dockside bars.
Oh, I don't know about dockside, but, like, tries to take women to semi-fancy looking restaurants, at least to Olive Garden, and overdresses for Olive Garden.
And he tries to dine and dash. He looks like that kind of guy.
I guess so.
And then the third guy, who is only ever referred to as Lady Killer Tom.
And he doesn't say too much, at least not right away. They just ask him, like, do you have a problem with this, or whatever the question was, and he just goes, no. And he says it in, I guess, English, but to me it sounded French, like no.
Like, there's a silent N on the end of that no.
Or a very quiet nasal N at the end of it. He's blonde with blue eyes, alright? So he's a white dude. And his name is Tom. Okay, so that's that guy. So we got 3 dudes who are challenged to pick up this chick and become the head of a mafia family, even though they have no qualifications to run a mob family. Are we up to speed now?
Yes, we are up to speed now, thank you. So the next day rolls around, and Ryo wakes up first thing in the morning, heads over to Shoko's place, and tells her, alright, let's go on a date. Come on. And somehow she agrees to him because she's under the impression, oh, if he wants to go on a date, I can probably charge him for something.
And surely by now Ryo has realized, well, she's gonna charge me, but whatever, I'm still gonna take her out on a date. So he's asking her these questions like, well, first of all, he's asking, do you want to see any of these romantic movies? But she kind of doesn't really give an answer.
And then he has to catch himself about to put his arm around her. He's like, oh, nope, you almost got me. And she's like, damn, that was almost a sale. So while they're trying to figure out what they want to do on their date, Ryo overhears a very familiar voice haggling about fish.
It sounds like you're going off topic there, but you're not. Yeah, Kaori is haggling with a dude. In fact, she's not even haggling, because the guy says, oh, this fish is only 700 yen, and she's like, man, that is a deal. Yeah, I think so.
And this dude's selling what, tuna?
I know at the end of the episode, he's definitely selling tuna. He said maguro at the end.
Did we have maguro when we were out there?
Oh yeah, tuna's amazing. I didn't think, because I don't really like the kind of tuna that, when you hear tuna, you think like out of a can or something. And
No, we're talking about like...
And I'm always like, oh man, tuna's so gross, but no, maguro, like sushi is incredible.
Because we had the good fortune of actually getting to try some out at the Tsukiji fish market.
I mean, it was a restaurant directly next to the Tsukiji fish market, and that particular day, because we went on one of these silly, stupid silver weeks that had popped up in recent years.
So a lot of the places were closed.
A lot of places were closed, including the fish market, but these restaurants were still open. And still, because they're right next to the fish market, that fish is effing fresh, alright? Friggin' incredible. So even if it wasn't the most expensive sushi, man, I don't know, that was really friggin' good.
That fatty tuna, I dream about it.
Yeah.
And the thing about it was, I worked at a fish market at the time, back at home, and I had to go home and look at our fish, which wasn't bad, mind you, but it was just like...
it wasn't the same.
But it wasn't the same.
But no, what I'm telling you is that, yeah, she's looking at this fish like, oh man, 700 yen, that's friggin' incredible, and I'm thinking the same thing, but also I live in the year 2023 right now. So, yeah, it's $7 for a fish.
Yeah, with head on, no scaling done, like, that's impressive
no scaling,
even for the
no
time.
Gutting, yeah.
And mind you, if you know how to do those things, you'll save yourself a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But Shoko overhears this, that's the price that Kaori is settling on, not knowing who Kaori is at all.
Right.
And then just immediately her frugal sense kicks in, and she immediately starts bartering with the fishmonger.
Like, no, you better take that down to 500. And they bicker back and forth for a little while until she manages to get it to 550, and then they stop.
Which is a pretty damn good deal.
It is, and that That fishmonger is very upset that he has parted with it, but she managed to get him down to it by lifting her skirt a little bit to give him some thigh.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah, and now you got a fish for 550 yen. Here's a $5 fish. And Kaori's very excited about this, but she ends up charging Ryo for the service of haggling with the fishmonger.
She took commission.
Mind you, that fish is cheaper than what he would have sold it for in the end still.
But you're paying some of the difference there to the middle person.
Yeah.
And so this little frugal victory is short-lived because an alarm goes off and now Shoko has to go to one of her other jobs that she's got. She's like, all right, Ryo, come on with me. You might enjoy what we do. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll go. Cowdy, you want to come with? And Cowdy's like, no, I've got a cold. And this is the last we see of Cowdy till the end of the episode.
She said she's got a cold?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so the job is biking around this cart that is also keeping warm or baking these sweet potatoes.
Which, funny enough, I saw somebody posting about the other day that apparently roasted sweet potato is delicious. And, like, I've never had it, so I don't know from firsthand experience.
I think
know
other people like it better than I do.
Yeah, like, most I've tried is, like, sweet potato fries, and I'm only indifferent to them. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I'm just not into any kind of potato in the first place. I know that sounds crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
I'm not even hugely into fries in the first place. I only grab off of your fries if you end up getting fries, but I wouldn't get fries by choice most of the time.
I get that, but at minimum, I understand what it's like to at least be entranced by the look of them, because I can only compare it to something like getting a baked potato, which, mind you, I can't remember the last time I got a baked potato, but I remember it was good.
Yeah, I'm not a baked potato person either, so that's all you. Again, I know that sounds crazy.
So as they're lugging the cart around, Ryo finally asks the question, why are you saving all this money?
Because money.
that's literally her answer.
That's her answer. Just because money is important. Are you gonna buy something? Money's important. Are you gonna put it towards something? Money's important. All right, cool.
That's the best you've got?
I'm glad we had this conversation. Please go about your business.
Except that's not what Ryo does. He gets fired up with that animation we always see reused, and he hits her with the old-fashioned, money's not the only thing you need to live. You also need love.
And so she decides, well, I guess I'll play into this. Why, yes, I am totally convinced you win. I need love, and I need it from you.
And Ryo's dumbass is like, yes, Shoko, come to my arms, feel the love. And they embrace.
And she's like, great, that'll be $30. Got him.
Congratulations, you played yourself. And mind you, we're from the old school of free hugs at anime conventions, so $30 in 1988 for a hug?
That's a lot, because look, now girls be out here at anime conventions charging to step on you, and they only charge like $5 at best, which I think they are way underselling themselves. I think that should be worth way more than $5, because if hugs were free and getting stepped on was only $5, this economy is shit.
I mean, that's it right there in a nutshell. I mean, either way, get your paper, but as far as inflation goes, how much is that hug worth now? If you're charging $30 for it in 1988.
But 0 times anything is 0. I know some math. Fuck you.
Okay, alright, you can have that one.
No, hugs were never going to be worth anything. If we're talking about inflation, it would still be worth 0.
So either way, she's overcharging for that
That's
that
what
hug.
I'm saying. Yeah, that's awful. It's just awful.
But thankfully, before she can collect on Ryo's debt for the hug, some people up in a apartment complex that they're nearby right now yell down, hey, can I get 2 potatoes for 2,000 yen? And she's like, alright, coming right up.
So wait, each potato is like $10?
Well, like, I'm over here trying to figure out, like, even factoring in delivery. And mind you, they're only transporting it up a flight of stairs to maybe, like, the 3rd floor.
It's still a $10 potato in 1987.
That's outrageous. Maybe for 2023, that's about the going rate.
In Los Angeles.
But for an 88, no. But while they're here doing the job, we notice Sabu, the womanizer, is, like, poking his head around the corner like a creep. He's like, alright, she's alone because dude's gone on to deliver potatoes. Now it's time to make my move.
Waltzes on in here.
He's got a 500 yen coin.
Which isn't really enough for a potato, apparently, because they cost 2,000 yen for 2 of them to go up a flight of stairs.
But he's offering money, so she's like, oh, I'll get you one right now.
Now I'm sitting here wondering, wait a minute, she just takes however much money people are willing to give her for these potatoes, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even know how this potato business is being run. Like, is this her potato business?
Or if she's doing it for somebody else, she's gonna get fired.
Like, cause she's either drastically overcharging.
She might be scraping off the top if she overcharges some people.
Does she seem like the kind of person that would do that?
I don't know, she might if she's secretly charging people to hold her hand.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know what she's into.
She might have turned into a piece of shit when she started doing this money bullshit.
Well, maybe not, and we'll see about that in a couple of scenes, but for right now. So, dude officer, 500 yen for a potato, and she's like, alright, 1 sweet potato, coming right up. And she gives him the sweet potatoes, and now we find out that Sabu isn't really a womanizer, he's actually an amateur magician.
I mean, I think he thinks he's a womanizer, but he decided that his pickup artistry revolves around magic tricks. So he has poofed out a dozen red roses.
Out of where the potatoes were.
And she's just like, hey man, screw your roses, I like potatoes. Which, surely you've seen this get around the internet. Here's why potatoes are better than flowers. Give your girl a potato on Valentine's Day.
Which, as we're recording this, is like 2 days from now.
Then he decides, well, I need to do lots more magic tricks.
So he, like, drinks some sake and then does the fire breath trick.
Yeah, which, you know, that's cool and all. It's starting to pull a crowd in. Specifically, first it pulls in 2 kids who are like, oh my god, that's real cool. And he's like, shut the fuck up, I hate children.
Which Shoko does not like, oh, people who don't like kids are the worst.
Well, especially if you're just gonna be an asshole to them.
Like
I mean, you don't have to like kids, but you don't have to, like, go up to them and tell them I hate you based on the fact that you are simply a child.
Exactly. And then to kind of distract them from crying and try and get Shoko's mind off the horrible thing he just said to the children, he just opens up the coat he's wearing and out flies 1,000,000 pigeons.
And now they're like, oh, well, that's cool. Well, we've just forgotten that he just told us he hates us. Also, let me do some more fire breathing, I guess. Now he's got a crowd around him. And Shoko has decided, hey, I can make money off of this. I'm gonna charge for this show that's not even mine.
And immediately goes into Carnival Barker mode. Everybody step right up. 10 yen. 1 show right here out in front of everybody. All right, collect. And she's just like passing the piggy bank around. And 2 things we had to point out right here. One is this little boy whose shirt says in English, oh.
With an exclamation mark and a Nike swoop below it.
Yeah, like, I want the shirt. I kind of want the
shirt.
Oh. But
some other lady standing in the crowd, she's got a nice handbag.
A shopping bag.
Like a shopping bag, like maybe it's a tote bag or something.
Oh, there's a logo on there, Kaylin.
Yeah, it's an S. What does that S look like? It's the sunrise logo.
It's the sunrise logo. They couldn't help themselves.
They just have to remind you, hey, remember, we're always here. We are God.
But now that dude's drawing the crowd and she's got to go off to do something else, she collects Ryo and leaves while the crowd is dividing her and Sabu so he can't get to her.
Sabu has to keep performing even though he did not want to do that, and the crowd is just like, hey, why'd you stop? Keep breathing that fire.
And he's just like pulling out... And he's just like pulling flags out of his ass now.
Whatever, just to make sure they don't beat the shit out of me for stealing their money, and I didn't even collect on any of this money. And they're like, whoa, yeah, that's great.
My first love was the theater. But no, now they're out in the park at night, and they're kind of taking a break. Shoko's like, hey, let me buy you a drink. And Ryo's like, all right, let me get my wallet out. And she's like, no, this one's on me. It's fine. And she buys him a cola, but again, we can't afford Coca-Cola advertising again on this show.
We did it the one time, and now we've had to change it to like City Cola, and now it's what?
Kako Kalo.
Kako Kalo Keiko.
Yes. All those words are there on the can. We checked.
And all the K sounds are all C's. So they've really just flipped a bunch of vowels to get around Coca-Cola. I don't know why they bother, because clearly they don't bother checking to make sure they have the right to draw anything else in this show. We're just like, oh, we're just gonna slap Enter the Dragon on whatever the fuck we want. Coca-Cola, who cares?
We're gonna reference Reanimator, and we're gonna show all of these Shogo Hamada albums.
But no, this week we have to really be careful about Coke.
Yeah, because Coke is on our ass.
I guess so. But wait, where have M&Ms been?
They can't afford it anymore,
Now
Kaylin.
they can't. Okay, the M&Ms.
They don't have
out.
that Mars money anymore.
Oh no.
They can't afford Mars candy advertising.
Poor Sunrise, they can only afford to advertise themselves.
At this point, they might be able to afford Shasta. And remember, folks, it's your own trip. So they're both there on a bench relaxing, drinking their drinks, and Shoko asks Rio outright, hey, do you think I'm attractive? He's like, yeah, of course you're attractive. You're cute. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's great, and nobody said that about me in a while.
I'll tell you exactly when the last time was and why it is that I care so much about money. Oh, I didn't ask, but okay, great. You go ahead and reminisce about this.
Get out your tiny violins, folks. This is going to be a piece of crap.
And it's this really romanticized thing with really weird flashback colors. This looks like maybe she was only 18. Like this had to have only been like a year ago because she doesn't look like she's that much younger in this flashback.
Right.
And she's with some dude and she's like, well, I love you. I'm gonna love you forever. And that guy's like, yeah, that's great. Hey, baby, in the car with the drop top, I'm gonna go over to you and tell you how much I love you. And this has broken her heart. That's how quick this flashback is. It's just the guy that she liked a pretty rich girl with money and cars. And then she decided, I guess I need money and not love. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole story.
So you can clearly tell Shoko has no friends.
I guess not.
Nobody to tell her, hey, look, we're going to take you on a girls' night. We're going to get you through this. It's fine. Eat some Ben and Jerry's. You'll get through it. No, she had nobody to talk to, and she just immediately threw herself into trying to make money. And I think the automatic thing in my head was, why are you trying so hard to get money? Is this not to afford to try and get him back?
Yeah, that or like revenge. And then if she does get him to kind of come crawling back to him, then she can be like, no.
Like she's telling Rio her Joker origin story right now.
I know.
And it's funny we say that because here in the next moment, like a split second after I thought that watching the episode because I didn't remember what came next, up over the horizon here at the park comes a helicopter.
Through some fireworks that say I love you. Well, I heart you. Although Rio reads it out loud as I love you, so he knows exactly what that means in English.
And out of the helicopter comes the second guy out of the three suitors, the Rick Moranis looking dude, and he's dressed like the Joker in Mask of the Phantasm in the third act.
I mean, it's the same suit, but it's not the same color. Also, this came before that movie. But yes, he's coming out in a jetpack, just kind of rocketing around, coming down to the park in a jetpack.
And he lands in front of Shoko, and Rio's just asking, you know this guy?
No. Who this bro? He knows my name, though. That's weird.
And he just shows up in front of her like, hey, baby, I got what you need right here. Cold, hard cash.
I will buy you as a girlfriend.
We have made a transaction. Yes?
And she's just like, no, you can't just throw money at anything you want. I hate people like that. And he's so confused. Which, I mean, to be fair, those are the vibes she's giving off by just milking money anywhere she can.
Right, so like I was kind of confused like he was, and he's got a briefcase full of cash there in front of her, and she picks up this stack out of what has fallen out, and she just bitch smacks him right across the face.
I mean, I would have done the same. I just didn't expect it out of her, but I'm glad for her.
That's a Yakuza move, right? You can slap somebody in Zero?
In Zero, yeah, because you eventually earn that ability. Or is it in 7, in Like a Dragon?
No, it's Zero.
No, because in Zero, you throw money up into the air to get a crowd of people to come and grab all this money so you have an easier time to run through a crowd. It's 7. It's Like a Dragon, where you become the head of your business and then you can hit people in the face with money.
No, you're right, because it's after the mini game.
Yes.
The business mini game. So yeah, that's what she's done here, is she's done this Yakuza finishing move, slapped this guy across the face, and he immediately goes running for Mama.
And he screams, Mama! Even my own mother didn't hit me like this. Well, I'm a rich guy, and you made me mad, so you're gonna regret this. Okay, Elon, bye.
I'll be back.
Mama.
And so we have no time to recover from this and be like, who was that guy? Because now the third guy has shown up.
Here comes Tom.
Lady Killer Tom shows up, just kind of strutting up. And again, Rio's like, you know this guy?
No, this guy and his stupid blonde ass.
And he's there speaking English like, Hi, I'm Tom. Let me take off my sunglasses.
Okay, so the first guy who accidentally punched the brick wall...
Dean Stockwell.
Sure. He's in the park watching all of this because he just wants to see, because he failed. Is one of these guys gonna be the one to do this? And he's saying to himself, oh, Tom's always the one that gets him the second he takes off his mirror sunglasses. And of course,
he's got aviators on.
He's got these blue eyes, and he's basically just like, look into my eyes. You love me. You
Look
love
at me with my special eyes. And you can see her like getting washed away by the blue in his eyes. And you think it's like, okay, this is just dramatic effect we're watching right now, right?
Uh-huh.
No, it turns out he's literally actually trying to hypnotize her right now.
Rio picked up on it, and he's like, hey, cut it out, and throws the can of Caco Calo at him. And he's like, you saw through my hypnotism.
You noticed my special eyes. And he's like, maybe. And he's like, if you're able to do that, then you're not a normal person. You better be careful. I've got a gun. And Rio's just like, try it. See what happens.
And he's just about to fire, and he throws the can again?
Well, no, Rio kicks the can. He kicks the can at Lady Killer Tom's face and just beans him with it. And that's it. Rio didn't even bother drawing his gun on this guy.
That's just sad.
Meanwhile, now that Lady Killer Tom has been taken care of, remember we just mentioned Rick Moranis' dude was like, I'll be back.
Well, he's back with a tank.
He's barreling down the highway, blowing away cop cars.
See, this is why we have to be careful of incels, because they do shit like this, they get rejected, and they think, well, now I have to murder a woman. This is real! I mean, maybe not to the level of going to get a tank, but he's a real guy we have to really be afraid of, because dudes would rather go and get a tank and
get therapy.
And kill a woman for rejecting him than get therapy.
Yeah, so he's blasting away cars, and he comes barreling back into the park, and just yelling at the top of his lungs, oh, you think you can reject me? Well, check out my chain gun!
He blatantly says, well, now I'm gonna kill you. What a bitch.
What a punk ass. And understandably, Shoko's just running away with Rio, shielding her like, why me? Why is this happening?
It is a bit extreme, even for a girl who has probably pissed off a few people in her day by ripping them off.
But nothing Shoko has done. Mind you, it is kind of crappy that she's charging for hugs the way she is. None of that warrants this.
But Rio's got a gun, so he takes care of this very easily by simply pointing down. As you might expect, this should be very obvious. He would point down the barrel of the tank, and it blows the entire tank up. The whole tank.
And we notice, you can see the cityscape in the background when the tank blows, and up on one building in the top right corner.
Yeah, it's got a sign, and the sign of this business or advertisement or whatever just says City Hunter, although it's slightly misspelled. It's spelled the way that Grindr and Tinder are spelled, like City Hunter.
Huntr.
So, it's a new app, the City Hunter app. I don't know what you do on that app.
Oh, it's a dating app.
Is it another dating app?
I found a girl on City Hunter. She's into hammers.
Oh, wow. It's very specific.
So yeah, Rio does what he does best. He shoots the guy in the tank, and the tank blows up, and somehow he didn't die being inside the tank when it blew. I mean, go figure.
No, he's fine. Although a big piece of metal lands on him after he crawls out from the burning wreckage.
Oh, okay, so now he's just a paraplegic.
He could be, yeah. That might have killed him, though, and we just don't know whether or not he's alive or dead.
But I appreciate that Rio still is trying to be cool here based off, all these guys out here are using jetpacks and hypnotism and tanks. I need to up my game a little bit. What'd the last guy do? He was using English? I'll use a little bit of English. And he tells Shoko, Owarida, it's the end.
It's the end.
Like, he says it's the end twice. He said it once in Japanese and then again in English.
Yeah, it's the end.
It's the end. And then he's got to get in this extra little bit of cool points. So she's been hiding behind his back this whole time because he wanted to make sure to be the one facing the oncoming bullets.
She's like, your back is so big and wide. And he's like, yeah, backs like this are meant for protecting women. What a loser.
You can only say that after you've blown up a tank.
I guess
you could
that's
literally
true.
never get away with that any other time.
That's true.
So it's the next day again, and we're back on the same street where the haggling was going on, and I guess Cowdy is feeling better.
Because she's out buying more fish, and this is a really big tuna. This for sure is a tuna, because he said maguro, and I just didn't happen to hear what he was saying the first time. But this is a huge tuna.
And she's trying so hard to haggle on her own.
And he's like, look, I cannot lower the price of this amazing, immaculate tuna. This is like $20. And even then, I'm like, man, only $20 for this huge tuna.
Yeah, that's undercharging for a whole tuna?
Maybe an 87, 88, I don't know.
No.
Like,
See, for those prices, like maybe you could get more than that, but I remember when I was working in the fish market, what was he saying? 17, 20 bucks American, thereabouts?
Something like that, yeah.
You could maybe get 2-3 fillets. Maybe. And that's a decent dinner, but for the whole thing? No.
And so Cowrie's like, well, I'm in a dress today. Let me show you some thigh. And it works a little bit. He takes it down to like $17.50.
He's like, yeah, but I can't do better than that. I mean, come on. You're killing me here. Mind you, we do have to point out here, when she was first there buying the fish from him, she was wearing the Rocco's Modern Life shirt.
Yeah.
And now she's decided, I better dress up for the fish market today. So she's wearing the Tarzan Jane outfit this time.
The yellow dress, yeah.
And Rio's there with her while she's trying to haggle. And he's like, well, you can try and haggle all you want. It's still you. So you're not going to do that
Such a dick. Like, that's a really good deal she's got on this huge tuna.
Also, you ass, she's probably going to make it for you.
Yeah, so maybe don't complain, especially after you've, like, paid all this money to some other chick that you really did not need to pay a bunch of money towards.
Oh,
like,
mind you, she's here now.
Oh, yeah, she's here, and she's dressed real nice and cute and ready to go on a real date, not just like I've put clothes on today and I'll go out with this guy who's willing to pay money to go on a date with me. No, she's like, I'm here to go on a date for real because, man, you sure did convince me with the whole protecting me from an exploding tank thing.
Also, it's all on me today. You don't have to pay for anything. So, again, this is an instance where Rio actually did manage to get a date, and it's consensual. The problem is, at this very moment, the boss of the Sao Tome family and Dean Stockwell show up to grovel at Rio's feet like, Master, we've heard about your dating techniques and the way you pick up women. Would you like to become the heir of a yakuza organization?
This is so stupid. Thank God it's the end of the episode. You know, Rio, he hates the yakuza, actually. He really wants little to nothing to do with the yakuza.
He said that on multiple occasions.
Yeah, so he's like, I don't know why any of this is happening, so I guess I'm just gonna run away from everything. Which, unfortunately, seems to include Shoko, who, like, she has just decided that money is not all that important, and now he's gonna break her heart.
She has just opened her heart again to the idea of love, and you were just leaving her there on the corner.
With a yakuza family.
And Cowdy and a fish.
And this whole time, Shoko didn't know she was being watched by the yakuza. She never knew until, I guess, right now. And even she's like, but wait, why's Rio running away? Like, none of this is really computing to anybody. And Kaori is back here, and she knows even less than everybody else. Like, what is all of this happening in front of me? But that's where it ends. I guess we just
Look,
never find out.
Once we start playing Supergirl, we don't have time for explanations. We gotta go. It's over. And yeah, that's the episode.
It's kind of weird. I feel like there were some things that could have been elaborated upon that were not elaborated upon, but it was pretty harmless.
All things considered, yeah.
You know, there was really no assault. I mean, unless you count, like, Rio, maybe putting his arm over somebody's shoulder, but she, like, took advantage of him doing that to her, so, like...
Even without Cowdy using the hammer at all this episode...
that never happened. Yeah.
Rio did pay for what he did. Literally.
With money.
He literally paid for what he did. So next week's episode, we're going into a two-parter here, and I'm trying to remember how important this one is, because this is another Umibozu-centric episode.
I think it was fairly important, at least as far as character development is concerned. On Umibozu's part, I believe.
Yeah, because we're dealing with a female assassin who, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll probably correct myself on this next week when we get to it, I believe this is somebody who wants revenge for something
for a family member or something.
Yeah, against Umibozu.
So yeah, two-parter, so it'll be important for the next couple of weeks. Please pay attention to that.
Because that's going to be 2 parts, and we have to start with the first one, but not this week. we're done with this episode. You'll have to listen again next week.
I don't know why you prattled on like that.
I don't know either.
So come back next time when we cover the 15th episode of City Hunter 2, Don't Die, Falcon! Magnum with Love and Revenge, Part 1.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on Twitter. For now, I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 65th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm gonna blame it all on Josh.
What'd I do?